I'll open the special meeting of the Ascension Parish Council, Thursday, September 11, 2008. I'll start with the invocation. Please stand. Thank you, Father, for this day and the time that you have given us. Bless us in our efforts this evening that we might be the stewards that please you. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. At this time, I'd like to take a 1 minute, everyone, just to pause for a minute and remember Mr. Lincoln Moore, the city manager of Donaldsonville, who passed away during this past storm event. Thank you. At this time, Mr. Aaron Looney will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, Ms. Suzanne. All present. Our public comment period. Anyone wish to speak on the hurricane discussion, please sign in with Ms. Suzanne. You'll be allotted 3 minutes. Item 4, we have the general discussion of Hurricane Gustav. I will call on our president, Mr. Tommy Martinez, please.
Good evening, gentlemen, and never would have thought we'd have been here in less than 2 weeks, all meeting again. And basically what we want to do tonight is not look back. Let's look forward, see where we're going. I want to let you know on debris removal. I know a lot of you are getting calls on that, but first of all, I'd like to call on our utility people who are at the forefront of all this, and I think did an excellent job. I must commend Mr. Herron and Ms. Marlborough. As of this morning, Demco had 12 customers left, I think, to come online, and I'd like to call up and get a report on that from Ms. Marlborough, and I certainly want to thank her for her efforts. Once Energy got them the electricity, within 3 days they had a majority of their customers online. So, Cheryl, would you like to come up, please?
Yes, we, as of this morning, I think we had about 8 customers out, and it was more repair issues on their part. Again, with this wind picking up, we are losing a few with trees and the limbs that were damaged from the storm, I guess, dropping out. So, but we're on top of it. We're going to continue to work just like we've been, and our goal is to get everybody back up. Our employees have been wonderful. They've been working very dedicated, very tireless. I mean, they've just been working 24 hours. So we're happy we could get everybody up as quick as we did.
Any questions for Ms. Marlborough?
I'd just like to add, Cheryl, that, I mean, basically we were together every day, conference call, or you really hound yourself professional. Your company is, did a great job. Thank you for being a part of the Ascension Parish team. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Herron, I know you've had a long day today. I know you still got a lot of problems in the area, but I know you got some good news to report to us also, and we really appreciate your effort also.
Good evening, President Martinez. I appreciate it, and members of the council. I'd like to break up my presentation into East Bank and West Bank discussion. As far as the East Bank is concerned, we anticipate being around 95% complete by this evening. And I say that meaning that the customers that can take power from us. There is a segment of customers out there that have damages, and it's going to require an electrician to do the repair work and inspection to go through that. Power is available to 100% of our main distribution lines and the feeder lines on that. So it is available to them. It's just there's going to be a delay. till they get all the repair work done at that time. As you know, the hospital is in, the facilities, all the schools are back in and fully operational. They've been going to school, the business district. So the east side is in real good shape. And like I say, we are wrapping down our restoration progress and efforts on the East Bank part of it right now. As far as the West Bank is concerned, all the schools are operational. We were able, the only one we had problems with was the Donaldsonville Primary School out there by the Walmart. The high school's fully operational. Also the intermediate school out there right down from it, it is also operational. So they're bringing the teachers back and preparing. Hospitals in, nursing home. We have gas stations over there at the base of the Sunshine Bridge. All that's in. Subdivisions, there's particular subdivisions that we've had problems with. And there are some power into the historic area. We're working until about 8 o'clock tonight. The 308 and Highway 1 down to the Palo Alto Bridge, if you're familiar with that, the main feeder line is energized, and many of the streets are heated up and have power. Again, there are still a lot of lines down, so it is not all inclusive 100%. Our efforts will be going on through about 8 o'clock. Like Cheryl had mentioned, we're concerned about the winds because our crews, they're no longer allowed to work if the winds exceed 35 miles an hour at that point. So it's very critical, and we were really hoping for faster progress, but Donaldsonville, with their trees, received quite a bit of damage, and so our efforts are still going on at this time in Donaldsonville.
Dave, what percentage do you think it is?
I want to clarify that part of it too, because there might be a little bit of misconception in the news. They might be reporting a little bit higher percentage, and the reason why we get asked how many in the city, a lot of times in our view, we include all those businesses at the Sunshine Bridge, St. Jude subdivision, which people call that Donaldsonville, but it's not in the city limits. So you'll hear a higher percentage. As far as in the city limits of Donaldsonville, it's lower, and I would estimate it to be about 35% around there. You'll hear a higher percentage, and they've included all those areas on the West Bank, but outside the city limits.
Councilman Thompson?
Yes, President, the residents that had problems with their power, like the weatherhead being pulled off and stuff like that, and the electricity not on yet, they have to come to Parish to get a permit, right? Do they have to buy the permit, or how does that work?
I think Mr. Hughes is here. He can maybe answer that question.
Mr. President, I can answer that, being I had that happen firsthand.
Okay.
You have to have a licensed electrical contractor or electrician put your weatherhead, everything back on your dwelling. You go to the parish and get your permit, and no, they are waiving the cost because of the storm.
So I wanted to know.
And then he will come out and inspect you.
And David and Cheryl, we discussed that about not doing that and just allowing the electric companies to go ahead and turn it on, but we're in discussions with them for the safety of the people there and also for the safety of the people working on the lines. We wanted to make sure that it was done right. Other parishes have waived that, and it was a lot speedier process, but I can assure you if one person dies, it's not worth us to do that.
And I'm not sure who waived the cost, Mr. President. You might be able to add something to that, but if it's, I appreciate it myself. So,
Thank you.
Mr. Herron, I would like to, just like with Cheryl, just thank you from the bottom of my heart, your efforts. And I know you're a walking dead man right now. You're up every morning and late at night, and we really appreciate you. I had a funny thing happen today, and I didn't call you about it, but in my house, under a vent, all of a sudden, air started blowing out. Thanks to y'all. I got my power back today. So
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We thank y'all. Thank your efforts.
Thank you.
David? Councilman Joseph.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, David, I got a couple of phone calls in the city of Donaldsonville area, and once again, you said that 35%, but they noticed that a bunch of crews left yesterday out of the city of Downsville, and they basically started calling around. And basically what I told them was, because of the Hurricane Ike, they were from Texas, and they had to go somewhere else.
Right.
And this morning, did you get the same amount of crews back into Downsonville, or?
Well, let me elaborate a little bit on that, Mr. Joseph. This crew that we had, it was a mixture, Texas, one, and there were some northern states. It was a pretty big crew. And they had been doing a lot of work up and down in front of the Walmart on the highway. That whole line was down. These guys had left anywhere from 2 or 3 days before the storm to travel. So the storm hit on the 1st. A lot of them left around the 29th to stage outside. There comes a point when you work people 2 weeks and these guys are working 14, 15 hours a day. We start becoming concerned, one, with safety issues at that point, and they just get tired. And you need to let them go back home and regroup. So we had a transition period where we were going to let them go. We have some other crews coming in. So, yes, they did leave. We were aware of it, like you say, because, they'd realistically been working almost 2 weeks. There was a lag in there. The other group was supposed to make it in. They didn't make it in. Part of them were coming in from Alabama till late yesterday evening. It was too late to get them started. Once we did a safety orientation, fed them, we got them good sleep. Was the crew as large as the one we lost? No, it wasn't. It was the ones that we had was much larger group. But we do have some more coming in. So,
Okay. Thank you very much.
Anybody else for Mr. Herron? Thank you very much, David. Mr. President.
Yes. Next, I'd like to call on Mr. Grant on the debris removal contract that we've in the process of negotiating and hopefully signing soon tonight.
Good afternoon, members of the council. Ms. Patterson is handing out to you a copy of the matrix we used to evaluate the proposals that we received for debris removal and monitoring. According to FEMA regulations, we were required to make a competitive selection for both of these contracts. So we used the format that we are proposing to you for competitive selection. Because of the emergency, however, we did not have to use the entire bid period. So the solicitation was done for a 3-day bid period. The monitoring contracts came in on Friday. The debris removals came in on Monday at 3 o'clock. We did our evaluations on Monday evening and into Tuesday. And based on what you see before you, we were able to make our selections. As you can see on the debris removal, the ratings are on the right. The prices are on the left. What became the compelling factors, and that is price and availability. Our goal was to have someone on the ground within 24 to 48 hours upon selection with major crews, and the price being that which is competitive and that which FEMA would accept at the 75 to 25 reimbursement level. You will see that United Recovery Group was number one at $6.90 per cubic yard. We based this bid on approximately 1 million cubic yards of debris. We hope it's less, but it's more likely to be more. So that's the unit price that's based on. They are out now doing that evaluation along with the monitoring team to validate those amounts of debris. On the debris monitoring, we selected CDM. You can see the scores there. That was based on, again, availability and ability to be on the ground. It was a fairly close, much closer evaluation on those proposals. Based on verifying this with FEMA in GOSEP, we have met the test of the competitive selection. We have met the test of having the right people in place to do the work. They will begin tomorrow in Sorrento and Gonzales at the Sorrento Civic Center dump site. We are now pursuing other dump sites around the parish so we can have additional sites in close proximity so we can take advantage of the base price of 0 to 15 miles for that $6.90. What we intend to do at this point is work with DEQ and verify those new temporary dump sites. These would be dump sites exclusively for the use of the contractor. They have to be warranted by DEQ as temporary dump sites, and so we have to validate those with them. We think it was a good process. We think it worked as it was designed to work, even though it was a short turnaround. To have 15 proposals received in 3 days is pretty remarkable when you consider the conditions under which people were operating, and 5 engineering firms to respond with quality proposals. We are pursuing with FEMA the potential of greater reimbursements in different areas. We'll report those to you at the next council meeting. But right now, we're moving forward on this.
Would you want to introduce the gentleman?
We have with us today the project managers for both of these efforts. Could I ask Cole Laudner, who's the project manager for the debris removal contractor out of Baton Rouge? He'll be around. You'll see his face often in your districts. He's the on-the-ground guy for that. And Amar Tofu from CDM is the principal for CDM. They are both committed to spending a great deal of time here in Ascension Parish. In fact, both teams have members on their team that live in Ascension Parish, so they don't have to go very far to get to work. And they'll start their efforts on first thing in the morning.
Chairman.
Yes, sir. Mr. Lambert.
Yeah, on a couple questions, I guess. Debris removal on parish roads, private roads.
Yes.
Say if we've got a private road that has a right of passage, are they going to go on the private
We
roads
are
to pick
pursuing-
up the debris also?
We are pursuing currently with FEMA. We need a special declaration from FEMA to allow us to go on private property or private roads, and we will sign that letter tomorrow requesting that authority.
Because I have a lot of people asking that.
Yes.
'Cause it's some lengthy,
Basic.
private roads that.
And basically, what this will allow also, if you in a subdivision, a close proximity, they can actually go if you got a down tree with the roots up on private property. This will allow them to do that, and we will get reimbursed. If you got trees down in a pasture, don't call. It's not going to happen. But in subdivisions and close proximity to someone's home where it may cause a problem, but we want to do this right. We don't. That's why we never allowed anybody other than cleaning driveways to let people out. And if we do this, it'll be totally reimbursable to the parish. And this is what we've been waiting for. So we have to, again, I think, put that out in a competitive bid to hire.
We have to request that from up, and we will make that request in the morning.
And we feel good about the possibility of getting that.
Second question, I guess, is lengthily on picking up. A lot of people are taking, having a little bit of trouble getting everything, their debris picked up. It might take a month, 30 to 2 months,
There
down the
will be-
road.
there will
So this is
be
going to be a lengthy process.
There will
is
be
what I'm
more than
saying.
one pass.
Okay. That was my second question. Appreciate it.
Mr. Grant, today, I think we talked a little bit this morning, Cole, with they will be issuing schedules once a week in the areas that they will be in, and we'll have that posted on Channel 21.
Channel 21,
so
and I'm
forth.
going to try and do some community outreach and get it out to
Each councilman know that they're in their
as
district. and so
close as we
forth.
can to where people are, to let them know we're coming. Give them a little time to
Yes,
get the
sir.
stuff out.
Appreciate that.
This is going to take a little while.
Yeah, it will.
Councilman Lower.
Just curious about the number of trucks they estimate to have on the streets, if you know, and based on their surveying and estimates of the damage and what they have, the job ahead of them, what a general time frame would be.
Chris, they just came on this morning. They're doing that assessment. I would hope that the next meeting I would have a little bit more definitive look for you. I hope we can do it in 100 days, but I'm not about to tell you right now. This is a big job.
Councilman Valentine.
Yeah, let's define debris for the
Right now,
general
what we're
public.
talking about, Councilman, is vegetative debris. Okay,
Right, and
that's
so
what
make sure
we're
just
talking
define
about. We have to get approvals for any and other types.
Right.
We've got a bunch of different types out. I mean, we had an offer today. Give you an example: scrap metal dealer was willing to accept scrap metals from people, free of charge, and that we hope some of that will occur. But as we get into this program, we get a better sense of what other types. We have pricing for all of that, but right now what we're pulling the trigger on is the vegetative
And
debris.
they all will be chipped? It's all going to be chipped?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, and we are talking with a company that would possibly buy the chips and would reduce our cost share
Right.
by doing that. So we've got it all working, and this time maybe Cedric could let a representative from each firm if you're through.
I got one more question from Mr. Grant, right quick. I guess, I want to commend y'all for moving as fast as y'all are on this, because as I ride throughout my district and everybody else's district, we're seeing debris in the middle of the ditches, which if we get some major flooding, we're going to have some issues. So I want to commend y'all on trying to move us forward, fast as y'all can on this project.
We'll try and prioritize getting
Yeah.
that stuff out first.
Thank you.
Councilman Shanks-Snyder?
Yes. Good. I had a couple things, Cedric, and they just answered one of them is what we're going to do with the debris, and I appreciate the fact that we're going to shred that so that we can reuse that. The other thing is their policy getting involved local workers, local vendors,
Yes,
and everything.
and I'll let them speak directly to
Okay.
that, but they've already made some of those comments.
Okay.
He'll
We just have a
address- he will
concern.
address
We want
that.
to-
Councilman Joseph?
Yes, Mr. Grant, I hate to go this way, but for this contract, I know you say it's Ascension and everything, but I know we are looking at a site on the other side to have a debris receiving center. And just to let them know, this contract right here is only for the parish outside the city limits of Donaldsonville currently. That
That's
is the
correct.
bid process right now, or the award in that contract, correct?
We have the city of Gonzales has joined us on the debris removal only. The city of Sorrento is on the contract for every phase. So the city of Donaldsonville chose to go on their own and pick up their own debris and whatever, hire their own people. So
And the reason I'm asking that, because I'm going to get those phone calls, okay? Can't go and get them, because we have our district inside the city limits. And I just wanted the public to know that the parish outside the city limits, the debris contract is for outside the city limit. Any debris in my district or Kent district, they have to go to their city councilman or the mayor of Donaldsonville.
Yes, sir.
And that's all.
And one more question, please.
Councilman Shanks-Snyder?
What are the plans for other debris that they have? We have some houses that were destroyed and things, trailers that ends up.
we have discussed all that today, Councilman Shanks-Snyder. There are processes to get that done also. We are initiating those contracts and initiating that process now, and hopefully we can get that taken care of in an expeditious manner also.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Councilman Clewart?
Nice try, Ted.
Yeah, Mr. Grant or Parish President, you said Gonzales is doing their own?
Gonzales had chose to do their own, but then they had a change of heart as far as the debris removal. So they have decided to join us. They're going to do their own monitoring.
And they will do their own monitoring, but they'll be under our debris contract.
Yes,
for
they
debris
will.
removal. They're going to piggyback with us.
We're going to do an intergovernmental agreement with them in Sorrento, and we also need to have you
Yes, but
do one with the drainage board
My
so we
next
can
question.
get that done. There's also we are also working on a grant to take the logs out of the canals with I think it's NRCS.
NCRS.
Yeah, NCRS. And there's also some FEMA help and assistance that's available there. So we're going to pursue all those avenues. So this all is, I think, is going to work out fine, and we'll get a lot of this stuff done with some cost sharing, and a lot of it we can do in kind. The debris that we've picked up already, we may offset it, and if for some reason Congress decides to waive the 25%, and the president, that'll be all to our betterment.
Mr. President,
that's what-
did I understand that we were going to have some National Guard also assisting?
We've been having National Guard, and I want to say a special thanks to those guys. They're here. I think the group that was in Donaldsonville left today or leaving tomorrow. Oliver?
President and
I can
Chairman, all I can
update
tell
you
you
on
is
that.
in the Modes area and Highway 1 North, and I think they did some work on Highway 308. And once again, they did an outstanding job, and I want to commend them on the effort and the hard work they have put in to help Ascension Parish, clean up this debris, But that's where they have what they have done.
But they're
that
still
I-
here. They're still here working.
well, I'm gonna have to turn the. Well, Bob just shook it and told me that was the day was the last day, huh, Bob?
Okay.
Councilman Clewart?
Yeah, on the National Guard, I know at least one of them and his company is, right now they just landed about 2 hours ago and they're staging at high schools and municipal buildings in the Lake Charles area with their boats to buffer for the hurricane on that end should it hit any part of Louisiana. And
Well, we had a lot of good people from the Armory here in Gonzales. Chad Lynch works for the school board, was pretty much in charge. Mr. Adams, so they were happy to be here, happy to help the citizens of Ascension Parish and be part of the community. And it was an outstanding, like I said, relationship. They worked well with Public Works. In fact, we worked out a deal when they have weekend duty here that they can actually do some Public Works projects for us since they've gotten accustomed and used to working within our system in the last week and a half.
Councilman Clord?
yes, on the piggyback of the East Ascension drainage, I'd want to meet with you guys. We've been talking about it, Bill and I, and DPW and everybody for the last 3 or 4 days. And now that we've kind of narrowed it down, we'll possibly meet tomorrow and make sure that all that's in line.
Councilman Thompson?
Yes, President, I'd like to commend you and your staff and Mr. Rick Weber on the outstanding job y'all did during the time of the storm. I know things was pretty critical, and just want to thank y'all for doing the outstanding job that y'all did.
Mr. Weber will be up shortly, so you can thank him personally.
Councilman Valentine?
Yeah, Cedric.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, but isn't DOTD going to establish a couple
Yes.
of chipping sites also? They're going to go back to where they were at Airline Highway?
They have contacted the T-Bows on the west side, and they're also looking on the east side here. And also, for your information, DOTD will be picking up the debris on the state roads. They have a contract starting tomorrow, supposedly, but with the wind, I don't know if they're going to get started, but they are scheduled, because I checked twice to make sure that I was
Right.
correct with that.
Do you know where they're going to stage on the east side?
No, I talked to Gardner's, but I can find out and give you a call, Joe.
Okay, I'd appreciate to know exactly where they're going to
We
stage
know
some of these
where we're
places.
not going, so
Yeah, good.
I would just tell you that.
Good, good, okay.
Anybody else for Mr. Grant?
Would you like to hear from these folks?
Thank you, Cedric.
Would you hear from these folks for a second?
My name is Cole Ladner. I'm a Unified Recovery Group. I wanted to report that we started to work immediately. We started moving equipment into the parish. We have some equipment in Sorrento as well as Gonzales. We're going to be meeting with the monitoring company in the morning and get started with that whole program. And if the wind's not too bad, we may even be loading debris tomorrow. That is our goal. I think the weather is going to be a big factor in that. One of the councilmen asked about hiring local people. We'd like to hire all the local people that are capable of doing the job and have the insurance and can do it. People that may just want a job after we get up and going, we'll be hiring some other individuals just to come on board with us. We're just now evaluating and estimating how much material is out there. So I think you asked how many crews we would have working. We have the capabilities of putting as many as we need on as the dumps become available. And we're working with Miss Jackie, I believe is the engineer's name. With the parent, we met with her this afternoon, and they have several sites selected. They're going to be speaking to the landowners, and as soon as all of those sites become available to us and we get started in full force, we'll know more about how many people we'll actually have here. So I think y'all answered a lot of the questions that I was prepared to answer, but.
Councilman, any questions for Cole?
Yes.
Councilman Shakespeare.
Yes, what is the process if you have a qualified local vendor that would like to get on? What would they do to contact you and,
Yes.
and interview or whatever process that you have?
The first step is just making sure the insurance is up to standards, and I'll have them fax all that to our main office, and then we would like to speak with them, see what kind of equipment they have available.
How do they contact you?
We
the
can get
president
that.
has my
Mr.
number.
Bob Turner will be in charge of that. He has all the numbers, all the contacts. He will be the contact person.
What's the
working
phone
with
number?
Public Works.
What's the phone number?
At DPW building in Gonzales. Bob Turner.
Yes.
I'll give you the number to our.
But he can give you, if you got enough
Understand.
cards, if you'll pass them out, they can
For the
contact
benefit
you.
of the public, I just wanted to know a phone number that people could call for
Yeah,
that.
we'll put it on Channel 21 if you'd like, if that helps.
Thank you.
And the reason we are, again, gonna, if they're gonna put equipment on the ground and starting in Gonzales and in Sorrento is because the two sites are established there, in Gonzales and also at the Civic Center. So we can haul that debris, until we get these other sites available. What we're looking for are 20 to 25 acre sites. And we want to make sure that they're not right on 42 where there's high traffic congestion and want to work through that process if at all possible. So we're looking for basically some isolated spots in the parish. The wood chipping is a lot better than burning. So, and the landowners who do it will be compensated, and the land will also be restored. If you want to maybe talk about that process for a little bit.
Yeah, we're required to put the property back in the condition that it was before we moved into it, and that's all part of the price that's already in the contract. So, I mean, that's basically what, you know.
Councilman Kluart.
Yeah, parish president and council members. I know that phone number was just asked for. I've done a decent amount of work in this. I'd appreciate that if any of the residents have anything that they go through the proper channels of possibly the DPW or the management firm, not the contracting crews that's on the street.
Well, that's why I said
that very much hampers this effort.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
And
It's all good and honest, but it hampers the heck out of it.
We will put it on Channel 21 and put the number that they can reach at the call at Public Works,
Right.
and then they can refer them, and that'll be the process that we'll use.
I appreciate it.
Councilman Joseph.
And I guess this goes to parish president. I know you're looking for a site on the west side, and when would you be able to have your crews and that site will be ready to be receiving that debris?
I think they're meeting tomorrow with some folks on the West Bank to look at sites, to mobilize it. Once they go and do an estimate of how much debris there is there, maybe you can give them an answer about what to look for on the West Bank.
DEQ has to approve the site. I mean, it usually takes 3 days, you know, just roughly after a site has been designated. Now, it's going to be up to the parish to talk with these people and enter into a contract with the landowner. But after that's established, there may be a little dirt work that's got to be done just to make it, you know, usable. But doesn't usually take very long at all.
And our monitors are going to expedite the DEQ process.
A day or two, maybe.
I would say get started, but we're not going to stop doing it without DPW crews. We're going to keep one DPW crew working as needed, and you know, as long as they're not needed on DPW projects at the time, you know, the rest of the crews are going to be removing debris. So.
Well, and I understand, you know, as all these councilmen know, that they will get these phone calls, and I know I'm going to get mine as soon as they hear tomorrow they're on the ground, and I'm on the other side, and you telling me Tuesday. And, I mean, I understand that, but, I mean, I'm going to get those phone calls. I'm glad we're on TV tonight.
I am.
The
reason I'm telling you why, and I'm giving you the reason so you can answer the question.
Right. Thanks a lot, Dad.
Councilman Kluart.
Yeah, we, District 6 that I represent and some of the other districts out around us a lot, pretty much a decent amount of rural area, a long ways. So if you need any help in those rural areas trying to locate some of the sites, just give us a holler, and we'll try to work with them.
You need to talk to Mr. Bob Turner at Public Works. He has a committee that's doing site selection. If you want to turn in a site, a possible site, get him the name, landowner, and phone number, and they'll go out and evaluate the site.
Thank you, sir.
Any more for Cole? Thank you, Cole. Mr. President?
Next, we'll have Amar with CDM to come up and explain the monitoring process.
Good evening. My name is Amar Tufel. I'm with CDM. And I have with me Mr. Bob Batherson, who is going to be our man in charge, our senior principal person in charge for the debris monitoring effort. Any specific questions related to the process, the reimbursable effort and the tracking, whatever, I think Bob is the right person for those questions. But if you have any general questions or whatever, here to help out in whatever way.
I would like
Councilman
Bob to.
Kluart, please.
Yeah, I think Bob's well qualified if we can get that piggyback agreement and try to cover the whole parish,
Right.
wet and dry.
To clarify what Councilman Kluart is talking about, other agencies or or governmental bodies within Ascension Parish, by mutual consent, can piggyback, as President Martinez already said. I think Gonzalez and Sorrento have some degree of joint effort with y'all. The drainage board could also be captured under an intergovernmental agreement or a memorandum of understanding. That's obviously by mutual consent.
Thank you.
I'd like Bob to maybe give us a brief overview of what they're going to be doing in the area and the initial stages and
Sure.
basically a monitor's job.
Okay. We really are your representatives on the site out there. We're, in a sense, an extension of staff. Our job is to follow the monitors, make sure that the loads are properly called, properly monitored, all in accordance with FEMA regulations. Our goal is to make sure that you get all the reimbursement that we can get out of FEMA. And there's things that have to be done in order to make that happen. First, your contract has to be established so that FEMA recognizes it as being reimbursable with your contractor, with the items properly tasked out. Secondly, then they go to work, and we provide a monitor for each crew. Every crew that goes around picking up the right-of-ways, we've got a monitor right there with them. FEMA wants that. We write out a load ticket when that truck is full. The ticket then goes to the disposal site. The contractor is going to have a tower. They'll build a 2x4 and plywood tower. We will call the load at the landfill or at the disposal site, and that tells you how many cubic yards are in the truck. Of course, the trucks are certified by us, by our monitors, before this all happens. And everything is done on FEMA-approved forms, all in accordance with the FEMA guidance document for reimbursement for public assistance. And we can help you with routing of trucks, where you want to send them to, hot places where you're getting calls. We can help oversee, if you'd like, if the contractor needs any help with the locating of a site and permitting of a temporary debris storage and site. Pretty much anything that you all need us to help you with in order to get you reimbursed from FEMA and to make this go as fast as possible. That's what our goal is.
And I think one of the questions right now, we're looking at vegetation, but there are also white goods
Right.
contracts that could be part of this debris removal. So it's just not going to, as we enter into every phase, it's going to be a little bit different. But we're going to clean up Ascension Parish well, and y'all are, what I'm told, FEMA-proof.
We're FEMA-approved. I've personally been
Proof.
involved in
Proof.
FEMA-approved.
In other words, we don't have any problem getting reimbursed.
We haven't so far, and we've got a lot of experience and good folks that know what the rules of the road are.
Okay. Because we're still trying to get some Katrina money, so we want to make sure that doesn't happen.
I understand.
Okay.
Councilman Schicksnyder.
A couple of things. General public, if they want to bring some vegetation.
Good question. They can go, I think, to the sites, but if it's a contractor that cuts trees down for a living, we cannot accept that. That is not acceptable. Is that correct?
That's
Dispose of.
If a contractor does it, where do contractors?
They would have to go to a landfill.
Landfill.
At Colonial or whatever.
BFI?
Yeah,
Okay.
a commercial landfill.
And when you're stacking goods, the general public that are stacking goods up on the side of the road, if they have a mixture of white goods and things. What is the best thing for the general public to do when they're stacking mixed materials? Should they try to separate it? And
Yes. Yes.
Please.
Especially, and I haven't seen your contract yet with your hauler, but and we can look at that, and if the items in there need to be adjusted, or if additional ones may need to be added, we can help you with any amendments to that contract. In general, you want to have a separate line item, for example, for white goods. If possible, a separate line item for C&D versus vegetative waste. And separation is important if you have those separate line items, because FEMA wants to look at.
Well, that's what I'm asking, and I guess I'm directing this to the general public. They're sitting there watching us right now. How do you want the general public to put their debris up there?
Yes.
And separate it? Please explain to the general public.
Yes, sir. You would want to have separate piles in your front yard for vegetative waste. You'd want to put the C&D, which is C&D is like boards, roofing materials, sheet plywood, and sheet metal, things like that.
Building construction debris.
Construction debris. C&D, I say that, but it's C&D is construction and demolition debris, yes. You'd want to have that in a separate pile. If you have any white goods, any refrigerators or appliances like that, if possible, separate those two. Don't just throw them on the pile. The same thing for electronics goods. If you have any, computers that got wet or, destroyed, or monitors and things like that. Now, at this point, you probably don't have a lot of, if you had flooding, you'll have carpet and things like that also. But you may not have, at this point, where you're doing any demolition for houses that were flood damaged or anything. That may come later, and there's a whole series of issues that go along with that at that point in time.
Yeah, and okay.
Kent, we do have all items covered in our contract. You do have all items in the contract.
Great.
Okay, and
I do have some wet carpet if you'd like some.
I bet you do. The other thing, a lot of people don't have a whole lot of room. If we can just assure them that if you put whatever you can up in the front, we will be making multiple passes, I think, and you can.
We're going to be having schedules out, and we'll make sure all the councilmen get them, and we'll be advertising it on 21. So it's going to be very important to people to monitor Channel 21. So they can get the information, or they can call us, and we can basically call Mr. Bob, and someone at Public Works will give him a schedule.
Councilman Cluant. Yeah, I just got a quick scenario that what's going to happen is we probably do have some people that don't have a bunch of friends and folks to go ahead and cut their trees down on. They're going to get somebody to pay to cut their trees down, and they're going to stack that stuff at the front of the road for you to pick up.
That's okay, but
okay.
We don't want them to put it in the
know.
drainage ditch.
Not in the ditch.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
And Councilman, it was a good point that you made about folks who put out different things, and maybe the first pass picks up the vegetative waste, and a lot of times people are confused. They say, "Well, you didn't pick up my refrigerator or my other debris," but that's going to happen maybe in the next pass, because a lot of times the contractor wants to complete a load of like vegetative waste, bring that to the landfill, and another truck will come by later and pick up the appliances or something like that.
Any other questions?
Any more questions?
No more questions?
Again, I mean, if there's any questions or concerns, we're still working out the finer details of our work. I think the chain of communication, the way the public can get in touch with us, as Mr. Grant mentioned, the outreach that we'll be helping him with. To make sure the public is aware, by all means, if you have any suggestions, we'll try to keep everything moving as well as we can. But I do want to tell everybody that the process that the administration is taking is absolutely the right way to go. We know of many other municipalities that are not doing this in this manner, and they will be facing some serious challenges when it comes to reimbursement and paying for the effort. So it's hard, I think, for a lot of the people in the public to understand why it takes some time, but this is a necessary step in the process.
Okay. Councilman Joseph.
This is not for you. This is not for you. This is for the parish president. I have to ask this question.
Yes, sir.
Parish president, and I know you mentioned that Sorrento and the city of Gonzales have agreed to piggyback off of this here.
Yes.
Right. I just want to know that do the city of Downsonville have an opportunity to piggyback off of this in the next couple of days before this contract starts?
Well, can't be responsible for what they've done already. That would have to be monitored separately. 'Cause like I said, I'm not getting into that. If they want to look at it, we certainly will welcome some open dialogue, and we don't have a problem in trying to work that out. So if the city leaders do call us, we will talk to them, but we want to make sure that they understand what they've done to this point. We're not going to be responsible.
That's all I need to know. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Any more discussion? Any more questions? Thank you, Alma.
Okay, I think now we'll call, I think the real unsung heroes, our OEP leader, Mr. Rick Webb, and his staff, and he can give us an update on Ike. So,
Mr. President, members of the council, if you don't mind, I'd like to call my staff up here with me to do this briefing. That's okay?
Yes, sir. By all means.
Marion Johnson Miles, could you come up here a minute, please? Marion's my assistant director, and in my absence, she has my full authority to advise the parish president and the council on all homeland security operations or situations within a parish. Crystal Moran. Crystal's my operations section chief. She coordinates with all first responding agencies, utility companies, and she's also the primary trainer for NIMS within the parish. Michelle Rayborn. Michelle Rayborn is the documentation unit leader. She tracks all of our documentation and grants for the parish. And Mr. Bobby Swallow. Bobby handles the logistics for us, and he managed the pod at Lamar Dixon for this event. If I could, what we're going to do now is just kind of go through a quick briefing on the basic statistics and operations for Hurricane Gustav. But if I could, Mr. Chairman, could I take a few minutes because of September 11th, just take a moment of silence? And
yes, sir. We were going to do that at the end, but now is as good a time to do it.
Thank you. Yes, sir. We just have a moment of silence for the lives lost September 11th. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We'll start with transportation and evacuation for the hurricane itself. On the 30th of August, the parish president ordered a voluntary evacuation of Ascension Parish. With that, the city-assisted evacuation program and the medical institution evacuation program was implemented out of the city of New Orleans. Right now, GOSEP is busy evacuating some of the southwestern parishes, so I couldn't get the exact number of people that were evacuated and sheltered, but it was pretty massive, and that was the first time that these programs were implemented. And it had a fairly substantial impact on Ascension Parish because it strained Region 2's medical resources almost beyond capacity, so it had a fairly substantial impact on us. Ascension Parish School Board provided 150 buses for this evacuation process. So they stepped up and did a tremendous job throughout the entire event. The Council on Aging vans were used to transport special needs patients to the special needs shelter in Hammond. As far as communications went, the IT section for Ascension Parish needs to be commended. Throughout the entire storm, we never lost data. Our data stayed up and running, Web EOC stayed up and running, and they need to be commended for what they did. And that was a combination of emergency power here at the EOC, emergency power in the EOC for ETEL, and the emergency systems that they put in place on Church Point Road. Marion worked tirelessly last week
The paint was still dry on our new system called WebEOC that tracks all data during an incident. Even while the storm was coming in, she was working with emergency services integrators, getting WebEOC installed, and it was installed Friday before the storm hit. She implemented it, and it worked extremely well. We was able to document every step of the incident. We never lost telecommunications. ETEL provided us with all of our phone systems, and we never lost telecommunications through the entire event. The 800 megahertz system never went down. Our public safety 800 megahertz system stayed up and running. We had a couple of issues with internal radio communications that we need to resolve within the EOC. Otherwise, communication stayed up and running through the entire event. Department of Public Works and Drainage handled over 16,000 tons of sand, processed 30,000 sandbags. The pumping stations we used. They conducted debris removal operations immediately. They helped us transport all equipment, conducted refueling and maintenance operations, and the personnel that they provided for our EOC was just, their performance was outstanding. Debt of gratitude goes out to our fire services. They provided special needs transportation to the medical special needs shelters in Hammond. One of the fantastic things that happened throughout the event was that because of the strain that was put on Region 2's medical system, Ascension Parish residents didn't have the space to go to the special needs shelter in Baton Rouge at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center or at the LSU Fieldhouse. So what the firefighters did was immediately go into an operation to distribute generators to personnel that had life-sustaining medical equipment that needed to be operational. So within a short time, they were able to do that throughout the parish. And this parish owes a debt of gratitude to these firefighters that did that. EMS, emergency medical services missions, they conducted those. Urban search and rescue missions. And they also distributed over 100 bottles of oxygen to people that needed it while the power was out. It transported patients to the pharmacy to get medication and to all of our local general population shelters. And they assisted with commodity distribution. They also assisted the Sheriff's Department and DPW with road clearing, so within 24 hours after the event, every road in Ascension Parish was cleared by with at least one lane. As far as my staff go, they established 2 points of distribution for the parish, one at Lamar Dixon, one at the Lemon Center in Donaldsonville. Coordinated the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Blue Roof program, and the Disaster Recovery Center, the mobile Disaster Recovery Center that's currently operating in Donaldsonville. They coordinated all resources through the Governor's Office of Homeland Security through WebEOC, which was critical in getting the resources that we need in the parish. Coordinated all public information, all alerts and warnings. Documented every step of the way. And another thanks that I want to give out is to the Planning and Zoning section, Ricky Crompton. They did an excellent job with damage assessment, a fantastic job with damage assessment. Again, we got the food stamp operation in Sorrento that's in process right now. It will be closed tomorrow. I'd like to let the public know that it will be closed tomorrow because of the hazardous weather associated with Hurricane Ike, and it will reopen again on Saturday. One area that I see I need to improve on is better coordination on my part with our medical systems within the parish and command and control within the EOC. Sheltering operations, we had 2 shelters open in the parish, one at Dutchtown High, which held up to 247 people at one time, and one at the Dream Center East in Donaldsonville, run by the Church United, which did a phenomenal job with that. Not only did they do a phenomenal job with sheltering, they did a fantastic job helping citizens of the West Bank immediately following the storm. We've got no medical special needs shelter in Ascension Parish, which is one of my top priorities immediately following this incident. I'd like to see one for Ascension Parish residents because I really believe that's critically important that we get one up and running. As far as resources go, this is what came into the parish. 1,400 tons of commodities came into the parish, valued at over $7 million. 870,000 meals were distributed. Over 327,000 liters of water.
292,000 bags of ice, and 52,000 tarps. That's not including the 24,000 hot meals that were served. And 24 standby generators were distributed to us from GOSEP, 6 of which are running right now in convenience stores and supermarkets in Donaldsonville. Emergency fuel supply was distributed by our local vendors in addition to the Department of Agriculture out of Louisiana. And I think that one of the most critical things that we need to consider immediately following this event is some type of emergency management warehouse, which I'm currently working on, so we can store some supplies to have it readily available when we do need it. As far as our state and federal partners are concerned, I think they did their job well. They provided us with the commodities that we needed it when we needed it, but we have to understand that the supply chain for emergency management is atypical, and it's created nearly overnight, so it's sometimes sporadic, but they did get me what I needed when I needed it. Again, medical, we do need a special needs shelter. The Department of Health and Hospitals supported us with oxygen when we needed it. And they also provided a generator to run for power restoration at one of our local hospitals. What I need to do now is I'm still working on getting the damage assessment to the agriculture industry within the parish, the sugarcane fields, so I should have that early next week. I want to get that completed. And one person I would like to recognize that's not here is Mike LeBlanc. Mike LeBlanc did a fantastic job on the West Bank, distributing all the commodities on the West Bank. And we need to thank him. We just covered the utilities and energy with Demco and Energy, so I'm not going to, I want to elaborate on that. Our law enforcement officials throughout the parish did a phenomenal job. Contraflow, I believe, was one of the best run contraflow operations that we've had to date. Performed all law, order, and security missions. Actually went out and cleared debris that as soon as the wind got below 40 miles an hour, they started clearing roads. Actually transported a blood sample that needed to go to Lady of the Lake during the hurricane because they needed to treat somebody here locally, so they transported a blood sample during the hurricane. They coordinated all the flyovers to do a damage assessment and worked very closely with us. If you look at slide 16, that's the damage assessment that Ricky Compton conducted, and if you'd like to elaborate on that, he's got the data here in front of him. You have any questions on damage assessment? No? All right. Volunteers and faith-based, Miss Audrey Boudreau, I can't thank her enough for what she did for us during the event. She established a volunteer reception center for us at the YMCA. The issue we had with this storm is that everybody was hurt during this storm, so we didn't have as much volunteerism that we normally would have because we're taking care of friends and family and neighbors. But she did a phenomenal job coordinating all volunteer efforts within the parish. American Red Cross ran our West Bank shelter, our East Bank shelter. I want to thank them. Catholic Charities are still on duty in the West Bank. They're helping the West Bank citizens. Public relations, all of our public action statements were kind of pre-canned and were distributed as soon as we activated the EOC. Our website seemed to work extremely well. I don't remember the percentage of hits that we had on the website right before the storm, but it went through the roof right before the storm, and Marion kept that updated as best she could throughout the storm. Information from the EOC to the PIO and media, we need to improve that from my perspective. I think that we could do a better job keeping the public informed, and I will work on that as soon as we slow down just a little bit. But I want to thank the people standing to my left. Without them, I cannot go out and do what I need to do. I guarantee you I will give you one of the best emergency management staffs in the state. Give me a little bit more time, and they're sharp now, but these guys are going to be phenomenal. And other than being subject to your questions, this concludes our briefing.
I don't have a question. I'd just like to reiterate what you said about this all-star team that's in front of us. Thank y'all very, very much. The best in the state. Thank you. Any questions? Councilman Lohr.
Just have a comment because a lot of folks obviously didn't get the chance to see you and your staff in action like we did, and just wanted to say, echo Pat's comments. I mean, Ascension Parish is truly blessed to have folks who are as confident and dedicated as you and your staff were. I mean, you guys did a phenomenal job.
Well, we thank you.
Councilman Schicksnyder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to echo what Councilman Lohr said. It was a privilege for us. I feel very proud to be working with Ascension Parish, to have people like this. Made things very comfortable. People were very receptive, and people were very helpful, and so I just want to transfer that to you. Just some suggestions that we received. Every time you look at this, you try to evaluate and everything. I wouldn't want anybody else leading us in this whole parish. People were without televisions and things. Some kind of way we need to try to find some type of radio piggybacking that we really get the word out with radio within the parish. That was asked for by a lot of people here. And I know, Ricky, you had asked us to get with you on that, on some of the things. And a couple of other suggestions that we can ask was, since we're asking the governor and everything for things in the future, I know a lot of people that ask that some kind of way we can manage to get our critical service stations with generators for fuel for people. That was one of the things. And other than that, the whole system worked with a number of things. I think everyone did the best they could, and it was remarkable what really happened. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councilman Claude.
Yeah, I'd just like to stress the good job y'all did, and I think everybody, all the way to the governor, seen the importance of the facility we have at Lamar-Dixon for staging for a regional area, and that went great. And also, I know our IT staff had probably took a little film shots and stuff inside the OEP office. There's a lot of people don't know that we have that great of a setup, and just I'd like at some point to run a little footage of everybody in there. It was tremendous.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Lohr.
Just to echo Ken's point about communication, that's probably one of the hardest things, but most important things to do during an event like this. And I'm just thinking of something. I know there's a lot of systems where you can, sign up for text alert messages and things like that. Maybe we could develop something like that for the parish, and we could send out official text messages and stuff, because that is one of the modes of communication that actually does work fairly well during hurricanes. So something to think about.
We already have that system in place.
Well, a little bit on the communication part, and again, I just certainly want to thank all of you. I spent a lot of hours with you. We had a lot of great moments together and got a lot accomplished, and I just feel a lot closer to all of you as individuals, and I commend you for your job. Well done.
But to respond to your question, we have a brand new system in place now that we can do that with call down rosters, and that's something that we plan on improving. It wasn't here for this storm, but we have it.
Is that something like the colleges have now for emergencies?
That's it.
Anybody? Councilman Joseph.
Yes, I just like to commend the whole team. I know everyone here and applauded them and everything but I just wanted to recognize one thing. The leadership with Rick is that he have noticed when we was going through the process of logistic traveling across the bridge and everything there, he immediately put together and made a pod on the West Bank. And I want to commend you to do that, your whole staff, because that was very important for the whole parish, because that travel logistic-wise was a little headache, but as soon as we found out it was a problem, you took charge and you made that happen. So once again, I've been through a lot of military events like this here with pods and logistic-wise, but the leadership that you took in that, I have to commend you on that, because you made a decision, and in my book, it was a right decision for the whole parish. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Cullen.
Yeah, I just want to thank Rick for letting me hang around in there. I was one of those special needs. So we do need the special needs, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Believe him, I was his chauffeur during the Councilman Johnson.
Yeah, Rick, as everybody else has stated, thanks to you and your team for doing the work that y'all done. Y'all processed a lot of information and handled it very well, and it's in a very stressful time. And one of the marks that I believe of a true good leader and good organization is you've already started looking at the issues that you had during this, and you're trying to figure out ways to make it work even better the next time. And that's what most good organizations do, and we appreciate the effort y'all are putting into this, and thanks again.
I know I'm missing quite a few people, so just pass on to James and everybody else, all the firefighters, all the police officers, that I couldn't have did it without them, and I do appreciate their efforts.
And that's one of the other things, too. I mean, the team effort camaraderie, whether it be the council or administration of the sheriff's office, fire departments, just the general staff of the parish, all the parish workers and everything that went well above and beyond the call of duty to handle the events of the last week or so, just tremendous. And working together and trying to resolve issues. And once they saw a problem, they worked to tackle it and come up with a game plan. And that's just, again, it's just good teamwork and good effort for the benefit of the people of the parish, and you can't get any better than that.
And before I get in trouble, let me mention my fire department, because last time I was on TV, I didn't mention them, and they kind of dogged me out. 7th District, I do appreciate everything 7th District does. That's mine.
You know, I guess you could bottle it all up and just say everything it's what we had started in January, that spirit of cooperation. We just, everybody stuck together. I made this statement. I'm a new guy, new councilman, first big event, I guess. I was completely blown away by the professionalism and how all these organizations and agencies came together under leadership, your leadership, President Martinez, the Sheriff's Office, Gonzales Police, just DPW, Mr. Grant, Ricky Compton. And when everything was going good, I said, well, it can't be anymore. Here comes Audrey and her army coming in. So it was just a team effort, and it completely blew me away. And I'm very happy to be part of this team. Thank you all.
Thank you. And one more thing, not even in the parish, Tracy Norman from the city of Gonzales and the Mayor Berthelot, phenomenal support from my office, and I'd like to thank them.
I didn't mean to leave certainly the mayors out, the officials from all the cities, and certainly all the fire officials. We have met with them. Well, you was there last night. They know our feelings. But John, Aaron, y'all were a very big part of this team getting the news out. We appreciate it. Councilman Valentine.
Yeah, just echoes some of the things Michael blown, especially on the west side, which took care. I was able to bring some supplies over to the west side, but Mr. Bobby at the Lamar Dixon did an excellent job of coordinating that, and of course the team that you have, and couldn't have done it without some of those stormtroopers behind you, and that was great, Bob. Rick, it was excellent.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Councilman Lambert.
Just a couple of things, Rick. You mentioned the food stamp. It's going to be closed tomorrow. Is it moving a little smoother now, or how's that going?
Quite a bit. Once we got the traffic situation under control, the last 2 days have been very smooth. Mr. Bello has got everybody in place that he needs to operate the system with, and we're just closing it because of the hazardous weather, but it should reopen again on Saturday and run through Monday.
Great. Yeah. I'd like to also mention that there's many heroes here, but Councilman Johnson, I think toward the end there, he worked with the fire departments to get waters and ice out. We appreciate you, Benny, for doing that. And Parish President, the burn ban has been lifted at 12 today.
That is correct.
That's right. We have some hard-working Ascension Parish people out there ready to go to work and clean their own yards up. So,
but river is closed due to the high tide. So I just want to let you know that we've issued that this afternoon.
Closed on
and
both,
also to let you know the school will be closed tomorrow also in Ascension Parish.
Thank you.
All schools.
Any other questions or comments or? Parish President?
I just, again, want to commend everyone in Ascension Parish, the citizens, all of our organizations. To go through something like this, I don't think any elected official on a daily basis that were there, full-time elected officials, I don't think any of us had a crossword. Council, same thing. I want to thank you for being so cooperative and working your district, being our ears and eyes out there and letting us know what was going on. I kind of felt like I was in a prison in that OEC office for 3 or 4 days. But But anyway, I commend everyone, the fire departments, the sheriff's department. I mean, everyone did an outstanding job, and all the people in this room. You can look around. Ms. Gwen LeBlanc, Bill Rue in drainage. I mean, Bob Turner. I mean, I don't want to name everybody, but everybody you see here deserves a big hand of applause. So, and I will tell you, it got hectic at times. You know, we had some spirited conversations with some officials on the FEMA level and also on the state level, but we managed to get things accomplished.
Local level too now.
You know, local level, but nobody lost their cool, and we all still friends, and that's what it's all about. And the mission got accomplished. I will tell you this: we were way ahead of most parishes. We had our roads open, as you heard, within 24 hours. The game plan worked with David Herring opening up the businesses, so our lines for gas disappeared. And let me tell you, if they had any problem spots when you're sitting out there in the hot sun waiting for gas and they run out, tempers get short. Most of our near misses as far as problems was about gas lines. And once you eliminate that, I think we've all learned from this experience. We didn't have we had a few small bumps in the road, but we really never had a hill or a mountain to climb by working together, and that's what it's all about. You know, and I think in the future, I made some suggestions to the governor when I met with him about Lamar Dixon, how useful it is to this community and this state, and how many people we staged there. And I don't know if we could have gotten our electricity on it. Really, actually, probably, if you talk to the utility companies, by having a large enough area to stage in, probably saved us a day and a half, 2 days on getting our electricity back, because it was so organized and everybody was at one spot. They didn't have to, and they could have their meetings there. The military stayed there. I mean, it was an excellent place to stage. So I think that they got the message on that. But what we need to do is take care of ourselves. We don't need to wait on other state agencies. We need to prepare for these things ahead of time. Suggestion would be to put a regional lights plant in an area in Ascension Parish, or one of the existing businesses. Make sure that they have a generator, so we wouldn't be waiting on ice. We need to store enough tarps. I mean, tarps to me was a nightmare. We gave out 57,000 tarps, Rick?
52.
I did an aerial assessment one day, and then some other folks did an aerial assessment. I don't think I counted maybe but 3,000 blue tarps parish-wide, maybe 300 or 400 on the West Bank, and about 2,600 to have 57,000 tarps go out, and still have people calling me 8 days after the storm wanting a tarp, and calling me an idiot about a tarp is, I really think every store was open. Walmart was open. The hardware stores were open. You can buy a tarp. If anybody after 8 days didn't take care of their business, shame on them. But there's a lot of things that we need to do and look at. And as I said, I had very little negative comments throughout this whole experience. So again, I'm proud of the people in Ascension Parish as much as the elected officials and anyone else and all these people. They stood, they did what they were supposed to do. The majority of them didn't gripe. They understood the situation, and they worked with us, and they were patient. And that means a lot to me, and it should mean a lot to all of you to be part of a parish like this. So, Pat, I don't really have any more business unless anybody has some questions. We just
Councilman Kluwer. Ms. Sherry Kinson, please.
Smile.
Yes. I would just like for you to know what a wonderful job your parish president did, never losing his cool in the EOC, kind of coordinating everything for us as parish workers, and I think probably when we finish our assessment, you'll find that you had over 250 parish workers out there, every department out there. Mr. Grant kind of coordinating those of us in there. Garney Gotro and I became food couriers, and that was it was just a real honor to be there. But Tommy always took up for his workers and made sure that those of us that were working had an opportunity to assess our own homes and get back to our own families, and then come back right to work for the 100,000+ people that were here. The beginning of his administration, he always said that we would be a team, and it was truly a team effort, and it was an honor to work for Mr. Martinez during this effort. Again, we even had some moments of levity in the EOC as we, I think, spent about 5 or 6 days together there. But you can truly be proud of your Ascension Parish workers because they were wonderful. The yard never stopped working. I think we had a few hitches once we worked out the food system, but it was truly an honor to be a part of Ascension Parish government. So I would just like to thank the administration, Mr. Martinez, Mr. Grant, and Rick Weber never lost his cool either. And if he did, he must have walked to another room because we never saw that either. It was truly an honor. So I would just really like for you to make sure that as you see parish workers, you let them know they were the reason, along with our administration, that this effort was so successful. Again, it was truly an honor. Thank you.
To the parish workers.
Thank you, Sherry.
One other thing.
Councilman Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank a couple of people that worked, and I mean just on the west side. We had a lot of people cook for us on the west side. They served over an average of about 8,000 meals, hot meals, and that based on from parish president, the governor, and the mayor, Leroy Sullivan. So over there we had hot meals. I got also Mr. George Valentine, his company, DuPont, brought ice, tarps, supplies over there. Volunteers. I mean, we had volunteers that came up and everything. I want to thank everybody on the west side that volunteered over there to make this possible. And right now, everybody is pretty much comfortable with water, ice, and everything. And I don't know when that pot will be closed. Mr. Rick Weber, could you give me information on that? You may close that pot right there.
I can.
We're going to close the West Bank pod tomorrow because there may be some hazardous weather. We'll reopen again Saturday, and it'll probably close right after that. And the reason why is we have 5 standby generators, one at Midway Grocery, and then we have 4 other generators running at the convenience store. Walmart is up and running, Walgreens is up and running, so we made a decision to run it through Saturday and then close it immediately following that.
Okay. And that's. And I want to also thank for the FEMA office over there. I mean, that was a very important thing over there. So I really appreciate that, and I know Kent does. I know Adrian does. And Mayor Leroy Sullivan. I spoke to him, and he wanted to once again thank the parish and your office, especially for all the assistance you have given them, parish president too. Okay, so that's it.
Okay, Councilman Shakespeare.
I want to make sure that we don't go through this meeting without letting people know Mr. Sullivan, Mayor Sullivan lost his assistant. Okay,
yes.
And I'm sorry.
Yes, we did.
We want to make sure.
Ken, I guess you had something to say about the business people that really support us.
Well, and I just wanted to echo. I read an article in the paper this morning about the local business people. Every time you run into a problem or anything like that, and you have to call on somebody. If you need someone to cook food and things like that, you make that phone call, and they're always there. And I want the people of Ascension Parish to remember that. These local businesses, sometimes they're struggling and they're trying to make ends meet and things like that, but they forget about their families. They forget about the bottom line. And when anybody in Ascension Parish needs anything, these local people that have businesses here will stand up and give, even if sometimes they don't really have. And so I just really want to let everybody know that our heart's out, for them, and thank you very much. And that's why we have such a big problem with people moving in here, is because they're so very welcome and the good people of Ascension Parish, and that's a good problem to have, so we just need to manage it. Thank you.
Well said, Councilman Shea Snyder. Parish President, did you have?
A couple other things. One other major problem we ran into during this storm, and I want to thank Kenny Matassa for staying on top of it and dealing with it, is sewer problem. Sewer backing up in residents' homes. So we worked with them very, very closely and tried to pump out our systems. We kept them going around the clock. The systems that we owned, we kept them going, and we also assisted some private companies when we could. So that was something that if you look at, we talked about sewer around in the parish. That was definitely a failure as far as the utility goes. And the other thing, as far as communications, Amy Johnson had a little baby girl, so our PIO director. And Mr. Lester Kenyon stepped in and did an excellent job. But one of the problems we have is I got a few emails, why weren't you on TV more and why weren't you here or there? Well, the governor was on TV, Kip Holden was on TV. Well, that's fine. I mean, they're in Baton Rouge. The EOC office is there. They got cots for the press. They definitely going to follow the governor everywhere he goes. Most of the time when we had to get coverage in the area, we had to call the TV station ourselves. As far as radio, we made a point to get on JBO at least once a day. The problem is they don't rebroadcast it. So if you miss it at that moment, it's a problem. I think John, maybe even with the Advocate, he probably wrote a lot longer stories than you saw in the paper, but they had to cover the entire area. But the news media needs to realize that we are a large area also. I thank them for what they did, but that we're a large viewing area, and I didn't see Livingston, West Baton Rouge, and if you take those areas, we're just as large as the city itself. But again, that's because it's convenient. It's in the city. Baton Rouge is the capital of Louisiana, and of course, like I said, the state government's located there. But we did our best to get the word out to the public. When you don't have electricity, it's a problem, and the cable's down. It's hard to get it out there, but we did make a valiant effort, and I want to commend our public information officers, both of them, for doing it. If you go look on the website, we had releases every day with up-to-date information. But people, I don't think, were just used to going to our website. And maybe that's one thing that we can do, is make them more aware of the website that we do have. But other than that, we had a few bumps. We met with the fire departments. I called all the chiefs in and asked them what we could do better. We met with them the other night, sat down with them. Surprisingly, it was just a very few things, and that's good. So, but we did take notice of that, and we're going to correct that. And they did an excellent job. I mean, they were out there fighting and, transporting during winds when they shouldn't have. Some tree fell on someone's house in Sanamo, I think, and guy was unconscious. They went out there and got him. So for those people, my hat goes off to them and to everyone. I mean, again, it's hard to single out anything. I could tell you a lot of stories, but it's just it was a good feeling. I was proud to be parish president during this. It was an experience for me, and I thank Rick and the whole group and all of you. So I'll close with that.
Yes, sir. Mr. Weber?
No, I'm thanking a lot of folks, but at least a couple more. Chief Bill Landry for putting up with me the first day I opened that pod at Lamar Dixon. I put a lot of stress on his city, and he didn't complain one bit. He helped me out quite a bit, so I do appreciate that. And the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Department, for both on the East and West Bank, for everything they did. That's all I have.
Yes, sir.
Did you want to schedule your regular, get back on a
Yes,
regular
sir.
schedule?
I'd like to make the announcement. We will have our regular scheduled meeting here September 18th at 7 o'clock p.m. And before we get to the adjournment part, I'd just like to, my fellow councilmen, I'd like to thank y'all for your cooperation, your professionalism. I know y'all got tired of this guy texting you sometime and so forth. I was just trying to make sure y'all were well informed. Todd, George, Benny, a few of y'all were Adrian, y'all were stuck in the plants, and I wanted to make sure that y'all were up to date. And we ran y'all's area for y'all, and I just want to thank y'all. I want to thank everybody's families, wives, children, everything. I mean, all of us. We were out there. We were gone from our houses. I thank y'all. I thank the families. I will entertain a motion for adjournment. Thank you. I'm sorry, Councilman Kluart.
Yeah, I'd just like to have a quick update on Hurricane Gustav. We sat in some of the bands, and we had
Rick?
No, Hurricane Gustav. I know what I'm saying.
Let's keep that cooperation going now. Let's go.
In Hurricane
Got a good
Gustav,
spirit.
we sat in some of the bands that were the inner bands. We had a minimal amount of rain than what was expected. Some of the folks above us and outer bands had a larger amount of rains. So after we got through with the hurricane here and we was picking up trees and everything, we had the flood stages come up in the local rivers, and we had to initiate the pumping stations, and both in McElroy Swamp and Sorrento. And we'd seen some low-lying flooding in the unprotected areas. That we did everything we could do to try to get stuff out of the way in the first couple of days before that got here. And we still have a basic high water mark in the low-lying areas that are unprotected. What we did with Hurricane Ike coming in, we working with Parish President, DPW, and Bill Rue with East Ascension Drainage, we got together and we initiated to pump down this morning in preparation of some of the bands that we may be seeing with Hurricane Ike. I just want to let everybody know that we still have a lot of trees in the major drains, a lot of trees in the major ditches. We still have if you can go out to the diversion canal, you see a pretty good flow, but you go to the swamp, you don't see a real good flow. It's going down slow. Right now we're pumped down good. Got people around the clock manning all the stations. Everybody's sitting ready one more time. And by the way, this is the third time in 4 weeks. We first had the tropical storm, and now this is the second hurricane. So everybody's been doing a good job on that. I don't think we had any major house flooding so far, but we'll continue to monitor that. And so I just want to let everybody know that this storm is going to circle around us, and it may throw some rain on us. And so, like I said before, some of the trees that didn't fall last time, they're wet and they're leaning. They may go in there now. But I just want to give a little update on that before we leave for the night, because that will be happening right now and through tomorrow. Thank you.
Motion adjourned.
Second. Motion adjourned by Councilman Tubbs, second by Councilman Todd Lambert.